I've bought bags in China before, and I've never really had this experience. So I'd love to talk about my new favorite brand discovery, which is Songmont, as I've spoken about before. It's the elevated accessories brand we have all been waiting for, that we didn't even know we were waiting for. What I have here is a Birkin, which somebody very generously loaned me for this exercise. I'm not here to Birkin bash. Hermès is a cultural legend and probably the premium luxury goods bag. It's iconic. And it has been the one which everybody, well, whoever wants one has aspired to for decades. What I have here is something completely different. This comes from not a heritage anywhere near the longevity of Hermès, but this is also establishing what could potentially be a new era of luxury goods. So one which is less about having something because it belongs to a perception of what luxury is. Something which is exclusive, very expensive, something that we really need to aspire to have. Philosophically, you could say that it's something we want to achieve to fulfill a void in ourselves, somewhere we want to go to be a better person. What I'm proposing here is this could be the new era of luxury goods, where it's something we can all engage in. It's not a cheap bag, but it is something which has a very sophisticated design language. There is a lot of storytelling behind it. It has a cultural relevance. It is really well made. It's really glamorous and thoughtful. The experience of holding this, it's got these very gentle handles, whereas here, it's much harder. And also, the big issue I have with a very expensive bag is you're always terrified you're going to mark it. I would never take a bag like this on a flight. Whereas this one, and this is obviously a price concern, I don't need to be so precious. And yet, the details in this bag are really thoughtful. So this is where you slide your phone in and it has this magnetic lock. The inside is really well considered. There's lots of space. The hardware, and this is something I've seen from the video with Tanner Leatherstein, the hardware factory they use really focuses on the quality of the hardware. Stitching wise, you know, this is just stunning. These stitch details, that looks like quality. The shape of the bag also, the shape of the seams, and what I said about the handles. It's that slope. The roundedness, so obviously they have some technique where they're creating this shape. It doesn't collapse. For a bag this price, I think that's very impressive. And they're not trying to scrimp on material use, so they have a lot of pockets. I mean, obviously, you can't really compare this leather with this. It's two entirely different bags, but if you want to have a bag for professional purposes, this is not a flexing bag, I would say. This is a bag that you enjoy using and you feel safe using. There is a feeling which comes from the experience of buying this bag. When you go to the store, you see that whole experience of the brand, which we haven't necessarily experienced in China previously. A lot of the features, the design language within the bags are celebrating Chinese heritage. This one less so, but certainly with the lunar or the drippy house, you can see there are actually elements in the design language. That's something which is quite new. The other element is the level of quality. And if you see that video that he did, It's the original founder of Songmont was Song's mother, who made a bag for her daughter to take to work. She enrolled a number of, as they call it, the Songmont Grannies, to make these bags. And so their commitment to quality and their passion for making them really brings another element of storytelling and kind of soft power to the whole essence of the Songmont brand. To bring cultural heritage in an authentic way is not easy to do, especially in quite obvious things. I think it's more in the subtlety. You can refer to there being Chinese elements. I mean, obviously, Mao jackets are a good example of that, but we don't see many brands really selling that. If we look back into the most successful kind of luxury emerging Chinese brand, which was, and it's an old one, Shanghai Tang, what David Tang actually did was to take all of those Chinese elements, the Mao jacket, various other things, and to make them in really bright colors. You know, you've got to remember that in the past they were in very specific colors. He made them into pop colors and he made them luxurious. And that was kind of a very new take on that language. With Songmont, it's much more subtle. You know, they've taken elements which they would consider to be architectural or, like the moon. It's not obvious that this is the moon. You only really get that because it's called the lunar bag and that they speak about it. But there is something which gives you that subtlety and that kind of relevance, which I think really resonates with people. There is a story behind it. It's not something they've necessarily experienced before. And it gives them a touch point with another culture. This functions beautifully. The value for money is certainly there. Will it have a resale value as a Birkin will? Probably not. But why do we buy a bag in the first place? Is it for the functionality, to enjoy it, to have the experience of having something really well considered in our lives every day? The future of luxury does not necessarily have to come from China, but it does not need to come from Europe or the West. I have no Western brand bashing here. What I'm really proposing is we have a future where luxury can come from many different parts of the world. And that's something very exciting and inspiring for all of you designers out there.